never be in vain.
Never.
No. I don't want to see no more people dying. Zion Yahweh. Oh. Zion Yahweh. Oh. Zion Yahweh. Whoa, Zion Yahweh. Yo, listen, man. My name is Jahbeloved. You can call me Quincy back when the occasion calls for it. You are watching iCulture TV. Keep it locked. iCulture TV. Africa from African perspective. Nana.
Oh, here. Good. You're what to say, Nana.
Otredian Pone or Body, Otredian Pone Body, any Nanandoma Daruma.
Yes. Yeah, until here. Wait, yeah, but how I drink a crack. You know, any kind of things where you vibe through these recent weeks, where you think say they be relevant to Rastafari situation, in terms of, our unity as Africans, how we move together, in the direction which let's lay out, and some challenges and difficulties where you think say we will pay attention to, my MBB, maybe I will pick it up, now and share the bit with the
Yeah, well, 1 second. Let's agree with. Okay. Yo, Nananti, first of all, we give thanks, for life. We give thanks for strength. We give thanks for the opportunity to meet together to reason, Now, the way in our dream when they ever kind of in idea, edify because iron sharpen iron, as they say. Now, the buyer can say, prior we bakwa, and the Kaboom, I just say, what the Adebaku, yeah, Adia. Me sure say prior back what they prior, but ye to some extent,
Yeah.
to some degree. But it's best when you put the collective together. So I always emphasize the collective,
Okay.
But that said, no, the word said, be a Rastafari at this time. Why? Because long ago, and now you start to see some of the normal ACC say, and one said,
correct.
The way the imperialist system that we have been subjected to, which many of us have been immune to, and we just wake up and we go to sleep and we wake up and we go our merry ways. We don't care what anybody else is doing. There were parliamentarians who make it their business to go tell cocoa farmers that the president is buying 4 personal jets when it's not true, when there are bigger issues that they should be dealing with.
Yeah.
People. And I am very sad, Nana, because truth of the matter is let's even take the internet that we are operating with. We are consuming internet. We are no part of creating the internet. In that sense, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Push it, Nana. Kasa.
Your ancestors may have, jammed up some ideas which may have eventually contributed to, what we are calling the internet now. But truth of the matter is when it comes to operational terms, we're consuming. And I worry. I dream about. I don't dream.
Nana,
I worry about the day where.
Say what you're. Yeah, can you?
Yeah, I worry about the day where we may have some unhinged person say that screw it, and shut down the internet, for instance. What happened?
And then what are we gonna do, right?
Oh,
after we become so used to it.
after we become so used to it, including us who know what we are talking about.
Yes.
Yes.
So you're raising a very important
it's
question.
The internet that we're having this discussion. So there's the good side, of course, right? But to what degree are we in control of that? To what degree are our existence dependent on that? Because when we get to the point where, and I was watching a news report the other day where this lady, it wasn't a report, it was actually a clip of an interview. Nigerian professor lady was talking about how Nigeria has been used as a test case for a cashless system, for instance, right? And I am seeing that even through the movies, the drama, the skits on YouTube and all that. Watch them. Back in the day, and I'm into movies, so I know what I'm talking about. When you were talking about money and you wanted to show money, you needed to show money. You needed props as money. Maybe you wanted to show a scene with a drug deal with somebody transferring $5 million over to the other person. You needed props. You needed to show
cash.
These days they can just say, hey, give me your account number. Boop, 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 boop.
Yes.
And from all the way down to the market square, where somebody will walk there and buy charcoal and pay with the account number.
Thank you.
Now, Nana, what happens one day when some unhinged person says, you know what, screw it, and takes away that system that controls all of that? Let's forget about that unhinged person. What happens if one day something happens that affects all of that?
Yeah, infects and shuts it down. So y'all kind of, we have to start thinking about, can we think of something that go fit do the thing where we want, where it not be dependent on what someone else they do. It doesn't mean say if we just jump and just start do something, it will always be related to something that's already happening. But see now you're pushing us to think our own thoughts more. Because sometimes we do this thing like, oh yeah, you can't reinvent the wheel, so yeah, just go do. Okay, so if your man Khalid Mohammed, he go say yeah, the lights where you did with the lights, if you did the control, the clothes we wear, we did the control. Go fit add your underwear and everything. So he said, what if suddenly they claim all that? Go to stand there butt naked. That's what he said. And he was doing a humorous way. But you're making us think of what are we making for ourselves? What are we thinking in terms of our reality? Because some people just accept, say, how the world will be, everything will be nice. And it might be the thing they talk about maybe never go happen. But we think more in terms of what do we really want? Because right now we do follow. Some people swear by what they make, like this is how it is, and that's it. But there are possibilities. That's what I'm hearing you say, and we take those things very seriously. You're not trying to scare us. You're trying to tell us that we have to think seriously about who we be and what our interests be. So please, don't continue on, Mr.
Well, no. What I'm saying is that because even if what I'm saying scares somebody, right? It's a reality that we have to confront. It is a reality that we have to confront because fact of the matter is that I don't want you to feel bad, but I also don't want you to feel complacent.
Exactly.
So everything is okay when everything is not okay, because that's the fact. The internet, all these AI, all of these things is controlling everything. Agriculture included.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay, so now we're riding along with a system where we are slowly, unconsciously forgetting our ways as a people. We're forgetting how we plant food. Right? We're losing the species that we originally used to have. My brother was telling me that, I used to have this thing where every year they would send me mushrooms from Ghana.
Okay.
When it's the mushroom season, they would get some of the mushrooms and send it to me, And this year, I was like, what's going on? Last year, I was like, where my mushrooms are, And
what did you say?
No mushrooms are even popping up anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. Now you have to go like far deep. to find mushrooms. And we take that for granted because we're not even eating mushrooms anymore. We're eating noodles.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So slowly, because Nana, back in the day when we were in the university, right, University of Ghana, there was a common joke, like when somebody wanted to, date a girl or whatever at Volta Hall and things like that, you buy Kelly Willy. Can you imagine that? Kelly Willy.
Interesting. Uh-huh.
That was the vibe at the time.
Okay.
And I remember the Commonwealth Hall used to have songs about that and all that,
Okay.
Before we left, there was this place that opened right across from the campus called On the Run, on the Go, something like that, On the Run.
Okay.
And such other types of food. So before our very eyes, I saw that switch. I saw the revolution. I saw right now. Kelly Willy didn't impress the ladies anymore. We had to cross over to go buy pizza or something like On the Run.
Yeah.
And slowly, gradually, try stepping in front of some girl today with Kelly Willy. And
yeah.
What would I make you know? What I'm making that point to say, sir, it's not hard for us to forget the things that we have now, some of which we have already forgotten. Right? It's not hard for us to leave our methods of soil conservation behind and depend on so-called fertilizers, which messes up your land to the point where mushrooms don't grow anymore. Because when you were using your own soil conservation methods, when you were using your own, even the ones that they condemn, like bush burning, they would still like accept.
There was a science to it. It was a scientific thing.
It's a scientific thing.
Originally,
adding potash and all of that to the soil.
Yeah.
So now you're depending on something else. That thing, every year, na ants never around that. Won't that make you ants need to koshe baby. Ushi we are. Then you need to go at the national statistics party at the now. They come around and they do some activity. Now, a mobile honor, they've sprayed that place with all kinds of things which they're not familiar with. They relocate, right? Now, the ants also have a part to play in creating the mounds on which the mushrooms grow. The ants are not there to do that anymore. To excrete, to mix up with the soil to create that condition which will make the natural mushroom spore spring up year after year after year. That's not happening anymore. And nobody's even paying attention anymore because that's not part of our regular diet anymore. So you go to a chop bar in Ghana, mushrooms cost an arm and a leg because it's hard to find.
It's rare. Charlie.
And people feel like, oh, that's all right. Okay, yeah. Those who still like it, maybe they have money, they will buy it. Those who don't have money, I don't know, it's seasonal anyway. They don't care. Before you realize that thing, because there are certain things which I believe have followed that trend. So I don't know if I'm drifting, but
no, stay on it. Keep going.
Fire as Rastafari. Everything that's going on in the world today. Right? Including everything. And whilst we are focused on our own battles, we should also look beyond and see what's happening in other parts of the world because the solidarity is important.
True.
Right?
True.
Solidarity is important for our cause.
Absolutely.
In which case we should also offer solidarity to worthy causes.
Mindfully,
right?
though. Doing it mindfully, without misplaced expectations and all that, too, right?
Yes. And that's where sometimes it gets tricky because sometimes you find, sometimes you find certain causes which may have similar, viewpoints as what I stand for.
True.
Other times it's mixed up with some other things that you may not necessarily agree with.
I know what you mean.
Line to walk. But it's definitely very important to align with similar minds,
True. True. Yeah. And is there anything where it happen for Africa right now where they think about along those lines where it call for solidarity, the call for, being more mindful of the extent to which before they do our own thing. Look, like
Yeah.
as they think about the mushroom, they say they tell us, say, make we anticipate tomorrow and lock some things in, things where we go need. Right? Because this mushroom thing, if we have something in place, no matter what will happen, like maybe we still gonna say we have it, right? Factoring the fact that people them taste the change and all that. No, there are things that are stable too. So right now, maybe as we talk about mushrooms, there'll be something else we will really think about, right? Where we for do something, put something in place where no matter what happens, nothing go there. So
Look, I get my audio right, Nepacho.
okay.
I was trying to connect with my Bluetooth so I can hear better. But
make we pause.
Mommy, just 1 quick minute. I'll grab my Bluetooth so I can hear a little better, Nepacho. Just 1 quick minute. Okay. I'll be right back. I could have sworn I brought this thing in here. I can't find it, but you know what? We'll make it happen same way.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah. Make we just make it go on.
You didn't hear me, right?
I did hear you.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, until I'm not drink some concrete situations in Africa right now where you could love to talk about in relation to some of the things where the points you raised.
Yeah, there's a lot, know, and we as Rastafari, we love to project sometimes, right? And see ahead of what other people may be thinking about or maybe projecting, right? Because right now, for instance, we go here say there's war in Iran and all of that, and people think it's something distant. It's not distant at all.
Not at all, Charlie. Not at all. Yeah.
Look at some of the, because one of the things which I don't know if those involved in this thing have taken into consideration be the effect of asymmetric attacks, right? Combination of asymmetric and unconventional. You see? So we lived through a period where we were mortified to even pass through an airport. Talk less of get on a plane, because you always think that there's somebody who was going to strap something to themselves and get on there and whatever. We've been through that period, and then we living in a period where that seems to be like history-ish. But now, with what's going on, I'm terrified.
Man, you're facing reality. You're facing the thing, because people are. I'm off with you, guys.
Yeah, and
people are. Go ahead.
Some of these forces are very, very active in. Oh, you know what? I think I've found a solution to the problem. I have headphones, like actual headphones. Let me plug in headphones. I forgot about this. You see what I was thinking about? I was so used to Bluetooth that I'm sitting right next to headphones.
And you had to be reminded.
I bet. Give me 1 second. Let me plug in these headphones. Cool. Make I hear better. Where's the slot? This side. Plug. Okay. There you go.
Yes. Yeah, Mitonka Claire.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. Yes. African common bed. Yes. We're talking about all these cells in the Sahel area spreading into Nigeria, all these places, right? Very active.
Yeah.
Cells of people who are fighting for whatever it is they are fighting for, which has turned to nothing anybody can defend, right? If you have some of the atrocities some of these people are meeting out to their own people, it's incredible. But these people somehow find a way to find allegiance to Iran. Maybe through religion, maybe through some type of culture which they grew up in or whatever. So now they may start their own nonsense in that region also. So now you see that some entity on this side is attacking that entity on the other side, but those in the middle are catching a stray bullet. Which is why it's important to raise our voices sometimes when we have to, right?
Absolutely.
And already we hear about Cuba and plans to attack Cuba. I think it's important to raise our voices and say no, don't try it. Right? Because when they sound and power, I believe that apart from everything else, all tactics and strategies considered, the voice of the people carry a certain weight which forces you to listen. And if you don't, then you have Mussolini
to
look at.
They hang him upside down. Your own people that were supporting him.
By your own people, the same ones that were egging you on.
Yes.
You know? So there's a lot going on across the world which has an impact on Africa. Oil prices, right?
Affecting everybody.
Everybody. The good thing now is that I hear Iran is like, everybody else can pass through the Strait of Hormuz. So maybe that's going to be a bright point. But my thought about that is not even about the Strait of Hormuz. Because how come that Ghana digs oil, Nigeria digs oil, and the Strait of Hormuz has to affect us in any way?
Because we're tied to a global cash economy that is not on our terms, and we're fighting hard to make sense of it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Charlie,
and that brings me to what President Mahama is doing with the.
Tell us something. What's happening? Okay.
I did an interview with my friend Richard Elima. Richard Elima is the chairman of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee. PIAC, right? This is a body that's tasked with monitoring government revenue accruing from minerals, right? Primarily gold, actually, but I think so now they are spreading their mandates to cover all the minerals and all of that. But so he's speaking from an informed source, obviously, is what I'm trying to say. Now, there was a recent issue about Ghana increasing the percentage that they want from gold revenue.
Is it a royalty? The royalty thing?
Yeah, the royalty thing. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And this is the first time that, well, not the first time, but one of the few times that you see China and USA agreeing together on something. Right?
Yeah.
But yes, indeed, they came together to heavily condemn the decision by the government to put the royalties on a sliding scale. What's the sliding scale? Right now, Ghana is pegged at 5% royalties.
Okay.
Fixed for whatever, mineral that, for gold. Let's limit it to gold because this is for gold. But now the government is trying to spread that to cover every other mineral, including lithium, right? But it's a fixed 5% for you. Now, with this 5%, when government has also signed an agreement with the top 3 mining interests, which accounts for 70% of the mining activities and income, right? And these top three have an agreement which they signed prior, which locks in the 5% for them. So in spite of the news which we were all celebrating about, that, oh yeah, the government is sliding the scale from 5% to between 5 and 12%. And what that means is this: if mineral royalties, if mineral prices go up, if the prices of gold go up, the government may slide the percentage all the way up to 12%. And the good thing is it gives the law gives incredible powers to the minister in charge. So truth be told, the minister can sleep and wake up the next day and feel good or feel bad and say, you know what, 12%, you know, and then that's it. But it's a sliding scale rather than now the minister can't do anything until the law was passed.
How are the 5 companies? How's the other deal working? The previous deal, how they responding? The people who thought they had a fixed rate they had to pay.
The funny thing is, according to Richard, those are the ones who are complaining also, even though some of them have 50 years left on their lease, in which period they will only pay 5%. But they're the ones making noise. The other 30%, who are the smaller scale miners, all put together, who this law is going to affect, are not even saying anything.
They're working with it.
They're working with it.
So Mia Chopin said there's some capitalist intentions with those other ones. So they think the world has to be like that.
And it's not for today, because after all, they have about 50 years. For some of them, according to Richard, have as much as 50 years left on their lease. So why would they even be bothered about something like that? But no, they want to hold your reserves for their future generations as well, on the same terms. So they're making us for that. You know, oh, no, you can't do that. And that's why America and Russia is complaining, because truth be told, why do they even care? Because they are the interest in this top 3. Right? And again, this law is going to take immediate effect, meaning that any other interest that comes in from this point, even if it's going to be as big as any of the top 3, will be affected by this law.
Yes.
So they don't like that at all. Like, they have to find some way to shut it down. But the good thing is, the president said no. He's sticking to he's sticking to the plan. He says it's Parliament. Parliament debated it and passed it. So be it. And that's what I was saying about President Mahama and President Traore, further up north, right? Because he comes, and Traore is a great strategist. Why do I say that? He knows when to speak. So there's a lot of things that have been attributed to him, but you have to research to find out if he really said that.
That's true. Yes. Once I remember you were talking about that. We're looking at something and you're like, wait a minute. I mean, maybe he didn't say that.
Yes.
You know, but that's very helpful. Go ahead, making a point about.
No, make a point.
No, not because I showed you something once and you were like, maybe he didn't say that.
It's possible because there's a lot of AI material attributed to him.
Yes, and people too want to go for make up stuff, you know. But now can be about to approach it strategically, right? Can you elaborate on that in terms of what other African leaders can learn from, from that?
Absolutely. Because for him, he comes through the military uniform and everything, which, you know, back in the day, people would have said, you know, that for those interests would have been like, oh, no, cool leader, military, whatever. But now, if you look at the body language of the African youth, they say, you know what, F that. Military leader, so what? What I make sure, back in the day, they used that and the people caught on to that. If you listen to our analysts today on radio in Ghana and stuff like that, sometimes you want to puke. Because some of them are still attributing the fact that somebody like Kutu Achampong was a cool leader and therefore cannot be honored. Such nonsense. And you see and you see that you see the bar. They're not looking at Kutu's achievements. They're not looking at his personality. They're not looking at his contribution not only to his country, but to the rest of Africa. They're not looking at his policies are enduring. Up to today, President Mahama is quoted as saying that they are going to go and take Kutu's policies to implement. And so because he moved a government, which was also military, by the way, right? So because of that, he cannot be honored. It's like nonsense. But we're coming from a generation of people who accepted that type of nonsense to now a generation who flock Traore when he goes to Accra for all the right reasons, right? So now the generation coming, they are telling these people, say, no, we're not going by your standards anymore. How dare you come to tell us how we should choose our leaders? No, it's not just Burkinabe. So Burkinabes have accepted that they want a military person to lead them. They have shown over. They have like overshown, if there's a word like that. That's what they want. But it's not just them. It's the rest of Africa saying, yes, we love that too. We want that too.
There will be some pressure on the ballot, election-oriented politicians, And
that's why some African leaders are reading John Mahama's template, because they are seeing that it's possible to be loved by the people to the point where they defend your actions. Let's compare the previous government to this government. 8 years in power, right? The government comes and says, we've built more roads than anybody. Show us the roads. Don't say it. Show us the roads. In this day and age where you can stand somewhere and show it with the phone. Right? Vice President will go and say, we built more airports than anybody. Really? Ghana has any other airports apart from the ones we know and we don't know? Show us. So you're taking the people for granted. You're insulting their intelligence.
Yeah, that's the thing, Charlie.
Right? Versus this government comes and then the president tours, and the people say, you know what, this bridge, that's the bridge that connects this part to that part. It's broken. If we could get it fixed, And then he makes a note of it. One thing he used to do, John Mahama, when he was touring, he had a notepad and he was taking personal notes.
Yes.
When he started with the people, he was taking personal notes. So these are the notes that go to his handlers to formulate policy. So it's based on what people want, people actually want, right? So now he fixes that bridge within 1 year. After people have been told in 8 years that they've built more bridges than anybody, but they haven't seen any of that bridges in their community. So now that the bridge has been built in this other place, does Mahama have to go and say, I've built a bridge? No. Somebody goes with a phone and dances on it and does a TikTok video. Won't that make picture?
Yeah, they do and say. They do before they say. Yeah, we go announce. Like you say, some of us not going to do stuff. Then when they talk about the things we do. But Mahama is showing you that we have to do it.
And once you do it, you don't even have to say it.
You see the
point I'm making. Professor Lumumba said it. He says, if, as a politician, if you've brought about development in the people's lives, you don't have to quote it.
Thank you.
The people will point to it for you.
Quote for you. Yeah.
Basically, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But we dealt with a system where government spokespeople will come and tell us that they've built a fabulous something. But then when we look, we don't see it.
Yeah. But why would they do that? When they not say people go find out the truth, sometimes you wonder why. Like they think people know, like you said, they think that people know intelligent, Number
one. Number two, they are living out of the times. They are not noticing a switch in the times. Let me explain that. I'm working with a team of people here at iCulture, right? At Media. Now, there's this young man who I try to counsel. Why? Because he went to school, he studied all the technology and all the antics on how to plug in all these cameras. Now, all the things that he's doing, all the things that he takes 2-3 days to do, right? Plan a script, go on set, shoot, edit, post-production, all of that. Somebody's doing that in 2 hours with a phone.
True.
And the quality is pretty damn good. So now, we are living in a time where you can't count on those things anymore.
Thank you.
It's changing fast, right? Including governance.
Now you're going somewhere, and some people think we're stuck. This is how governance is supposed to be, but you're saying that no. What is the world really like? What is the situation really like? You know, I was just reading something. Speaking of, I don't want to get off camera, but it had something to that effect. They were defining politics, and the person was actually saying that it's tied to a particular culture. So we borrow or you borrow in template or and say this is what politics is. But it's supposed to be modeled on how you were living. And as we always know, culture is about the time, right? Obviously, culture is dynamic. That's a cliche, right? Because you look at a culture in terms of what they're doing now, how things are now, right? You go say, we go talk, say, our politics for be attuned to what is going on now. Like Tuareg, that's what he's doing.
Basically,
Muhammad, that's what he's going for. That's from what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like, what are we doing now? He's not saying that. Oh, bro, for instance, saying we can't do it.
No.
Those are colonial ideas.
No.
But some of us come and we do that. We go wear 2025 suits or 2026 suits, but we did think like we did, 1892.
And wear horse tail on our heads and go sitting. Say that's what when even the systems now you go to those countries, they don't even wear those things anymore. But we in Ghana, they wear it past.
Charlie.
Because it has become and that's another thing I love about this Mahama government. And let me say it here. Back in the day, it was like law was limited to some families.
True.
Obetia udini yes some type of ginger and yellow.
Yeah.
Slowly it started expanding small, started integrating a few other cophobia almost instead of seeking to expand the base, no more become part of Omona or by protection.
Lawyer
for any no more be a moon. Montina or Yakasa, Niviana Mosumakasa. John Mahama comes and decentralizes law education. You know why it was like that? First of all, it's because we had Makola School of Law.
Yeah.
Period. So you go do some under courses in Legon or wherever else, but you have to end up at Makola before into the whole entire Ghana. If you're from Boliga and you want to be a lawyer, you have to find a way to come and live in Accra. To go to Makola. All these years.
I mean, we're not going to blame those who did it then because that was the situation then. But we can't go repeat that.
They fought. Yeah, they fought. And some couple there, how can we blame them?
We can't. Yeah, that's their reality. Yeah.
System now. And one hustler and pass and do Makola. It's Usha proximity wise, right? Geography wise. Obia or ya won or Boliga, and Obia ya won or in Samam, and Obia ya won or Teshi, all struggling to get to the law school in Makolano. Who has the advantage? Community Teshi, met me Africa, Trotro, if you're not about lectures, number Sanko.
Yeah.
But me Boliga, it's happening also if you Bolga, FND way be a better now cry. And son of me dream is a meeting law school.
Charlie.
Nonsense to the highest pedigree. And we have maintained that system like it was okay. Mama says, no, sir, let's change that. Now he's spreading the law course across universities across the country. So you can take a law course in UDS, University of Development Studies in Tamale, and come out with write the same exam as those who are writing in Makola.
Yes, long overdue. It should have been like that.
Demystify. This is how we sway tails. Because at some point, people will see the nonsense in all of that. When you have a few select few, no more call it a lodge, right? And this is our identity. This is what makes us look. No, sir. Now there's like 5,000 lawyers. Everybody's trying to get even. You see this country, how the lawyers struggle to get business.
Yeah.
It's not like that in Ghana too much like that because there are too few of them to cover plenty.
Okay.
Now, when there's a lawyer every corner, you see in America, they'll put attorney.
Hey, you need billboards.
You
need billboards.
That's the funniest thing ever. Cheap divorce.
Charlie, they have to find some niche and just own the
Charlie.
Yeah.
So when we have plenty lawyers, it will demystify that Sardina lawyer for so person much I say or nobody else knows and nobody else can tell.
Yes. In any other area too, are those other areas where people they feel say they be so special? The more these things they, they democratize. Yeah.
The politics.
Oh, even speaking of, even like music, right? Say because of the DAO thing where people can just buy software. The people who thought they were the elite of it, they had a problem with that. They were like, oh, now everybody can record music, man. They should come through us. No, sir. Those days are gone. Wonderful things are happening because people can do stuff without coming all the way to you.
Let me give you the example of this guy called Likey, Dr. Likey, right?
Okay.
On YouTube in Ghana. He's a friend of mine. He's one of the actors I worked with back in the day.
Cool.
But he was somebody where back in the day he had locks,
Okay.
And I was directing a project that he wanted to be part of. So he used to come and rehearse with us and all that. Now, Likey is the type of person that nobody gave a dog's chance. None of the directors at the time considered him for anything. Only time they would cast him is if there's a bad boy role. Oh, there's some armed robbery scene. Oh, there's some gangster, somebody for go rob somebody. Then they'll go bring Likey to come and play those type of roles. And he has a serious face. Let's just say, okay. Let's just say, plus his locks and everything. So that's all they saw in him, Now, he struggled, he walked around, tried to get the roles. That's all he got. He hung in there. Here comes YouTube. Nobody at Makola or Kantamanto or Edum is controlling when you release your content or how you market it.
Oh, sir.
The way they were doing at the time. Here comes Likey and he starts, guess what? Comedy skits. He doesn't have the locks anymore, but with all the other
everything you have,
else, he sets up a comedy skit and is the number one on YouTube up till this day for like years now.
Thank you.
See, so now somebody was kicked to the status quo, and that's another thing with development. Development, right? It is also hinged on people local interests. The agenda it's not going to help them individually. So he's not interested in that thing happening. Right? Let's say the people who control the Ghana movie scene at the time were given a say whether or not to allow YouTube to function. You think they would have said yes? Hell no, they would have said no. I remember another example. A friend of Masum, right?
Okay.
You go to the markets in Kumasi. I don't know if it's in other markets. I know about the Kumasi situation. But we have something called market queens. And these are women who will sit in there. I'm not, hey, they hustle, that's their work. But let's be frank, okay? Because, so would you want to so how be I'll say to me discussing
No. The whole idea of hustle, we have to look at it closely. I mean, it's great to hustle, but we look at what is hustle. In some sense, we first take a stand against what Nana Kasa.
And especially when it's institutionalized like this, no? Yeah, because what's happening is a mami otijomo on fertilizer on koji bosia wo bank on koye hwe obi we foam wakoji bosia wo bank was spending days weeding and clearing the land and planting and have watering and praying to God for rain and whatever else. Taking fertilizing, doing whatnot, everything, harvesting, hiring labor. right, carting the food from the market to the farm. Then I won't contrast that made drama. This is why I don't feel no way. Say, even though it sounds like say maybe I may be attacking somebody's hustle. Charlie, let's all think about this, very carefully. Nipa baako or investation or tijom and all chain set tracking beba. Nipa baako we're taking risk. We're quasi Bosnia. We're investing labor. We're investing everything else. And we have a stadium, and or the other market solve it on. Oduwa na mame na ote hono. Was small be na wakwaku share track no be. You move tracking by paper no ku ria bon. Was masom. He's working for somebody, or he or she. Your man not to make a reboss attracts. But they are working for somebody who's sitting down in their stall waiting. Masom santi tracking in na musa de bani na no. Or no on your she no. What you can say, what's the word? What chatter back in Ghana, they say what chatter taxi. Just say, all those, only you, nobody can touch. What chatter work, I didn't know that the farmer practically has no say.
Wow. And they'll determine the value of it.
They will. And you know how they do that? It's not like, okay, what the two so, but they know how they function. And you're no buy now, wababe mao. Okay, we'll track load of tomatoes. Remember, 50,000 cedis. Remember, 5,000 cedis for the whole track load. Oh, mame, I did way I'm a year. My bon can be brave. The least I can do is 250. Oh, 250 is 200 above. Okay, with the amount of 55. The many amawa no. Pafako. Utuka na everybody else that you ask will give you that or below. You know why? This is something I've studied. It's a phenomenon I've studied for a while.
I think you mentioned it before. I mean, that's so detailed, Charlie.
Nipa na or no edi kan kese 1 mouse idea no. So uko koma farmer no more than that or no wasem. Because they have their
queen, right?
It's like It's like you've broken a code.
Yeah.
It's like you've broken a code, so they won't do that to you. So don't do that to them. Price where you shouldn't go above that price. Therefore, frustrating the farmer who may have to pay again to cut his goods from their back or to wherever else. Who would want to do that?
So he go settle for the thing that they offer.
Settle for the 55,000. Now I call back. No, we not share.
Charlie.
Not even enough to go pay back the bank loan. So our farmers are working for these people.
Because the same kind of economics, so we forget past. Oh,
that's the end of the story. Because of that, most of statistical development has said. Because of that, if a government wants to build an ultra-modern market with scales and, tables to sell foodstuffs on rather than on the floor, on the ground, somebody doesn't want that. Why? Because with this ultra-modern system, the trucks are not going to come through that route again. You don't have the opportunity to go and jump on the truck and say Masum again. Mm-hmm. It is shutting down a whole hustle over there.
A hustle industry.
it's shutting down the whole hustle industry.
Yeah.
But guess what? It's putting the money back in the pockets of the farmers who really deserve it, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yes.
So these are some of the things.
Yeah, but it's good to say, I like how you reflect on how things they move forward. I mean, it looks like we get ready for the next one, right? The lecture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but now you opening up you start opening some things where I won't make follow through, Charlie. Mm-hmm. So how soon we go to do this again? A day. We can always arrange and we go arrange, yeah. Because already you touched on you talk about the how we think ahead, for be 2 steps ahead of development, so to speak, right? So we know the follow and copy too much where somebody go call the shots where we don't have any clothes on. And then this thing they talk about economics, for the market there. I think say we have to think about it seriously. Because sometimes we feel say this is how it is. We just give up. Go ahead.
And I think we've also think about it in terms of farmers markets, right?
Good.
I mean, as Rastafari, we are farmers.
Yeah.
And even as RCG, we have our farm. And that's what we have to start. We have to introduce that. If nobody will do it, we will introduce it as a standard, right?
Yes.
And invite other farmers to join us as we go along. And the whole idea is to put more money back in the pockets of the farmer. Here's the idea. We set up days. And this is not even new. It's just going back to the roots. What I say? Because growing up in a place like Asimfo, so they used to have market days.
Yeah.
That day, no farmer, no. But the extension to this be say we will extend the market to provide stall areas for farmers, or set up special spaces just for farmers.
Yes.
And set up their own market days for them. So they're not even plugged into the regular market days, right? The regular market days go run, but they also have their own market days once every 2 weeks or something, or once a week or whatever. They will come, set up, and sell their own produce directly to the people.
Yes.
And make them the maximum money rather than we be babekes masum. What on your shade? Right? And these are the people who go determine, say, okay, so how do we cut tomatoes to cry? A big jump to make me a pushy price up, make me the say. And then they'll be making like insane profits off the sweat of the farmers. And as Rastafari, we speak for the downtrodden and for people who don't have a mouth, So me as a person, and I hope I'm going to be able to maybe bring this to the council to see if it's something we want to pursue.
I think it will help us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put our mouth in there because, again, people may wrongly assume that as Rastafari, it's only abolition, as we've been speaking about, which is on our plate.
But it be everything, it be everything.
Anything.
Yeah.
As long as it affects our nice. So we come mass. Now we be and because you don't know what you want to launch from there, come back down to earth. So I do put the fire home. So yeah, all I'm saying is say any and everything is a go area
for our business.
It's our business. Any and everything is our business. And while we are at it now, we for make it clear, say, as Rastafari, when we talk about politics, we're not talking about party politics. However, if there's something going on within the party politics that we should condemn or uphold that, because the time in Coma Air function now, they show that and people sat around like, I'm coming home. And maybe if those people had contributed their voice to it, we would have seen through the bullshit of the people who moved in Coma, like we saw just months after, Anyhow, you thanks every time.
We forgot. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked. But I saw you building on the kind of even the fact that where you finished this today, we foresee how everything be our business and things really happen in any corner, party politics. As long as it's about the people, it's our business.
Yes.
Just stay on it. Let make we develop on. Like I said, I want to make you start more to connect the things that happen around the continent too. Based on your conversations, your research, it go help us. Wow. East Africa, South Africa, other places. Yes. Yeah. And we got link now. So we got link for
the lecture.
True.
Nana,
that's your Charlie. Inshallah, Charlie. Yes, that's it.